Solar Alliance launched the CEO Caucus as a high-level forum designed to bring together senior-level industry representatives to exchange ideas, network, and contribute to the global advancement of solar energy. This initiative builds upon the success of the 2024, which was the first edition of the CEO Caucus Roundtables, which focused on developing a diversified and resilient global supply chain for solar, enabling access to technology, mobilizing capital, and creating an enabling policy environment. Today, we have a power-packed panel for the discussions titled Forging the Future of Solar, taking India-Japan innovations for a sustainable world. I would, in the initial part of the event, like to invite the high-level dignitaries to join us on stage. Honorable Vice Minister of METI, Matsuo-san, Mr. Chandru Appar, Council General India to Osaka and Kobuko Okazaki, and Director General of the International Solar Alliance, Mr. Ashish Khanna, to join us on stage, please.
We are a treaty-based organization of 124 countries, probably the Global South's largest multilateral institution. And it's a privilege to be here. Let me start by saying, why are we here at Japan Expo? We are here because the world must celebrate what seemed so improbable about 10, 15 years back of the revolution that's undergoing in the world. To give you a number, almost $2.2 trillion were invested in the world on clean energy, which for the first time was significantly more than the total investment in fossil fuels. The second part of the celebration is about the two countries that we're going to talk a lot about today, that is India and Japan. Let me share a little bit of achievements of India first. India has moved from almost solar power capacity to 110 gigawatts as of now in just a matter of 11 years. It's now the world's third largest solar market, and that has happened through a variety of reasons, ranging from a very strong political support, a policy and regulatory regime that supports private sector investment. Almost all of it is led by private sector. It has created an institutional framework like Solar Energy Corporation for center and states to work together to reduce the risk, get the transmission interconnection and variable renewable energy interconnection agreements in place, get the land, the environment and social mechanisms that are needed for solar. And finally, capital markets that allow local currency financing for the entire solar power investment. So I think we are here to celebrate India's achievement. And let me also congratulate Japan that they are probably the world leaders on new technologies and innovation space and the research and development that's happening, especially on new technologies, be it perovskite that we was just discussing, but also on storage, whether it is to do with solid-state batteries, sodium-ion batteries, and I will say, of course, on ammonia and green hydrogen as well. And while we are celebrating of what both these countries have achieved, we are also here to discuss about future. And why we have a private sector CEO caucus is because we at International Solar Alliance, as a convening body, believe the world can benefit enormously by Japan's research and development ecosystem of looking at all these new technologies come together with commercialization prospects of India's market, entrepreneurial talent, and the manpower that is available. There are very few opportunities in the world that are completely win-win. And we believe the space for looking, I just mentioned three, I will repeat them, whether it is perovskite, storage solutions, and ammonia as fuel, are great opportunities for private sector to come together and see what are the areas for collaboration for commercialization with the manufacturing and R&D ecosystem of Japan, with entrepreneurship, market, and talent. But then this experience has to be taken to all the 124 countries that are our members. Because the world is really looking forward to affordable solutions for energy security and energy transition. And getting commercialization of these new technologies would be absolutely essential. My last point before I welcome all of you on this is also to let you know that we are having a private sector CEO caucus right now of large established companies that are at the forefront of a lot of this R&D. But we are also having startups tomorrow. And this is very important because we really believe the collaboration requires large companies to come together through forms of JVs or collaboration. But then a lot of startups will have to disrupt the supply chains to get the new technologies out. So I just wanted to explain why we actually got both the private sector CEO caucus and the startup tomorrow. I really look forward to a fruitful discussion. And one thing I want to promise from our side, as a convener, this is just the first of a long program. We really believe that over the next few years, the world definitely needs a very strong partnership between Indian and Japanese companies, and then going beyond to other 124 countries. And this is just a start. Over the next few years, we continue to look forward to avenues to bring more and more private sector companies and governments together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Chandru Apar, Council General of India, say Osaka and Kobe, Government of India, for a special address. So.
His Excellency Mr. Taki Matsu, Vice Minister of International Affairs, Mr. Ashish Khanna, Director General ISA, ITPO Program Director, panelists, representatives from private companies, participants, friends. A very good morning to all of you. It's my privilege to join you all at this ISA CEO caucus during Osaka Expo 2025. India's leadership in the International Solar Alliance is a strong reflection of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's belief in solar energy. His vision of one sun, one world, one grid is a wonderful idea to connect the world through the power of sunlight. The vision was further consolidated during India's G20 presidency, where we placed greater emphasis on energy security, sustainable lifestyle, and energy transitions as the key agenda. ISA was actively featured in India's G20 presidency as a platform for advancing global solar adoption. In India, the achievements speak for itself. We are well on track to achieve 500 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. Solar makes a substantial portion in that figure. This is possible thanks to collective efforts of the government, private, and public participation. International Solar Alliance is one of the key high points of India's foreign policy. It is India's strong affirmation towards net zero. With collective support of partners around the world, India influences towards easy, affordable, and sustainable energy solutions. Since its founding, ISA has identified over 10 gigawatts of solar power projects in 53 member countries and facilitated 28 demonstration projects in least developed countries and the small island developing states. ISA has also trained over 5,200 professionals across 65 countries. ISA is working towards the vision of facilitating energy access, security, and transition by delivering cleaner electricity to all by the year 2030. Achieving a clean energy future cannot be attained in isolation. We must build strong partnerships across regions, governments, and sectors. Private investment play an important role here. The ISA's mission to unlock $1 trillion investments in solar energy by 2030 is bold, but possible with financial support from the Western countries. The scale of the challenge requires deeper and meaningful partnerships. Japan can play a critical role as a trusted friend. Japan's technological innovation, its R&D capabilities, and its investment potential in renewable infrastructure are key enablers that will boost clean energy in global south. Expo 2025 in Osaka is a great platform to commit to this partnership. I am confident that today's CEO Caucus will help ISA inch closer towards its goal of an equitable and sustainable energy future. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, sir. And the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, has been a long-standing partner to, set up and further the work at the International Solar Alliance. Let me now invite Ms. Junko Okazaki for her special address, please. Madam.
So, as Chair's believe, it is a great pleasure to extend my congratulations on holding of the CEO Caucus to 2025 in Expo in Osaka. While Izumi Kaizuka of RTS Corporation was originally scheduled to attend, but she can't be here today. So, I'm Junko Okazaki. I'm honored to deliver this message on her behalf. So please, next slide. So let me introduce briefly. RTS Corporation is a leading PV industry market consulting company in Japan, and IEA PVPS is an international collaboration program dedicated to the solar PV. And our Izumi Kaizuka is a deputy manager of IEA PVPS. Next slide. So I'd like to share a brief overview of global status of photovoltaics solar based on data from IAPVP's snapshot report. By the end of 2024, the world cumulative PV capacity had reached 2.2 terawatts. By the end the world passed the 1 terawatt mark in 2022. So it needs 68 years long to achieve first 1 terawatt mark since the invention of the first solar cell in 1954. But only 2 more years was needed and the second terawatt. This shows the rapid acceleration of deployment of PV. So please, next slide. In 2024 alone, 602 gigawatts of new PV systems were installed globally. Solar has become the most cost-effective source of electricity in many regions and expected to play a central role of achieving carbon neutrality. India installed almost 32 gigawatts in 2024, ranking third globally, and Japan added 5.5 gigawatts, placing 10th. In cumulative capacity, India ranks third, and Japan is fifth. Next slide, please. In India, there's a production-linked incentive, or PLI scheme, and this is strongly supported domestic PV manufacturing. As of last year, the production capacity already passed 65 gigawatts per year. It means already past the domestic demand of India. It means there's huge opportunities to export their modules to abroad, includes Japan. Next slide, please. Despite rapid growth, experts agree that we need more PV capacity. At the third kilowatt workshop co-hosted by ISTO in Japan and US Anywhere and Fraunhofer ISE in Germany, and it was concluded that 75 terawatts of PV will be needed to 2050 to reach net zero emissions. For more detail, please see our Kaizuka co-authored publication. Please refer to this. To achieve this goal, we will need huge efforts and investments and international collaborations. It's particularly important to expand solar adoption not only in major markets but also in Asia, Africa, and South America. I sincerely hope today's CEO Caucus will serve as a meaningful step towards the shared mission. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. And I think that gives a great background for the discussions that we are going to have right after this. But let me now invite Matsuo-san, the Vice Minister of METI Japan, for his inaugural address. Sir.
First of all, I'd like to express my heartfelt appreciation to the International Solar Alliance for holding this CEO Caucus here at Expo 2025 Osaka, Kansai. The focus of this roundtable on future of solar energy aligns well with the main theme of this Expo 2025, which is designing future society for our lives. I also welcome all of you to this expo. Today, I'd like to highlight 3 points. The first point is the great expectation for solar energy in Japan. In February this year, the Japanese government formulated the 7th Strategic Energy Plan. This plan anticipates an increase in electricity demand in our country for the first time in the past 20 years. Driven by the expanded use of AI and the construction of data centers. Responding to this growing demand while steadily advancing decarbonization, renewable energy, including solar power, is essential. In Japan, the introduction of the feed-in tariff FIT system has led to a significant increase in the share of solar power in our energy mix, rising from 0.4% in 2011 to 9.8% in 2023. The 7th Strategic Energy Plan projects the share of this solar power will triple from the current 9.8% to approximately 30% by 2040. Furthermore, the potential of solar energy extends beyond direct electricity supply. Solar power, along with wind energy, is expected to be a crucial energy source for the production of green hydrogen and green ammonia. Japan aims to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, and in this context, hydrogen and ammonia, alongside renewable energy, nuclear power, CCS, are highly anticipated. To promote the utilization of hydrogen and ammonia, the Japanese government has established a CFD, or Contract for Difference Support Scheme. The adaptation period for this scheme, application period for this scheme closed at the end of March, and a rigorous review process is now conducted. Given the limited availability of a suitable site for renewable energy and CCS in Japan, of course, we are committed to supporting domestic projects first, but also supporting the import of hydrogen and ammonia, which are produced using Japanese technology and can be supplied in large quantities. While we cannot project the outcome of this ongoing review, but it is generally expected that blue hydrogen will be produced in countries like those in Middle East, the United States, and Australia, and green hydrogen will be more advantageous for countries that have easier access to renewable energy. And in this regard, I believe India has a significant potential as a future producer of green hydrogen and ammonia for Japan. However, it is also important to note that the current solar power generation facilities heavily depend on China for the supply chain, including the production of silicon. I do not mean to imply that China is an unreliable country, but relying heavily on one single country for critical material can pose risks and vulnerabilities in supply disruptions. How can we overcome this challenge? This is the second point I'd like to address. Under Japan's G7 presidency, a new initiative called Resilient and Inclusive Supply Chain Enhancement, RISE, was launched at the World Bank IMF annual meeting in October 2023. as a joint effort of like-minded countries. And under this initiative, in December 2023, a meeting focused on the solar-related industry was held in New Delhi to share experiences and information. To overcome vulnerabilities, one possible approach is a diversification of supplier. This would allow us to expand sourcing from other suppliers in the event of supply disruption from a specific supplier. Additionally, in case where reserves of raw materials like silicon are concentrated in specific countries, efforts to promote silicon recycling or to seek alternatives are also needed. One promising technology in this regard is perovskite solar cells. This technology originating in Japan primarily use iodine, of which Japan is the second largest producer in the world. With its lightweight and flexible characteristics, these perovskite solar cells can be installed in locations that were previously difficult to access, and significantly contributing to the expansion of renewable energy production. Japanese companies are set to begin commercialization this year, and some companies in China and parts of Europe have also started working towards commercialization. At the Expo 2025, we have installed one of the world's largest perovskite solar cells, spanning 250 meters at the Westgate bus terminal. And part of the electricity generated from here is stored or used in nighttime lighting, showing our new technology to the world. The Japanese government is committed to building a production system and strengthening the supply chain with world-class scale and speed. For example, we have set a target of 20 gigawatts of installed capacity by 2040 and the establishment of gigawatt-level production system by 2030. Japan has had a bitter experience in fields such as batteries and displays in the past, where despite leading in technological development, it fell behind the other countries in mass production and commercialization. We cannot afford to repeat this cycle. By collaborating with India's rapidly growing solar industry, two of us can quickly establish a mass production system and potentially secure a dominant position in the global solar power market. This is my third point, the significant potential for Japan-India cooperation. In addition, if we can achieve a strong position in the solar power market, we will also be able to build a resilient and reliable supply chain for green hydrogen and ammonia. Moreover, by using surplus solar power to produce hydrogen, we can enable cost-effective hydrogen production and also stabilize the supply of variable solar power to the grid. As the share of renewable energy increases, the issue of grid stability becomes a challenge. The importance of battery storage as a solution is growing. In India, the demand for batteries is expected to rise significantly alongside the increase in solar power generation. However, again, high dependence on specific countries remains a challenge, and we are exploring the potential for domestic production. I believe this is another area where we can see great potential for Japan-India collaboration. Just yesterday, we held a matching event in Delhi, inviting a representative from Indian conglomerate and Japanese battery-related companies. Over 180 people participated. I have high hopes that this will further accelerate Japan-India collaboration. As such, I'm confident that Japan and India can realize this virtuous cycle through their close collaboration and lead the global solar energy industry. However, whether we can really materialize this potential depends on the decision and action of the industry that you represent here today. I hope that the discussion in this roundtable will lead to meaningful cooperation between the industries of our both countries. Thank you very much.
Itsuo-san, thank you very much. And you enumerated all the areas that we are hoping to discuss today. And I think the call for action towards the industry, and as my Director General had also mentioned, we have seen the India-Japan partnership in the automobile sector, and to replicate that into solar, into a Suzuki for solar kind of a model, is something that we are looking forward to. Today's event is in partnership with the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, who unfortunately could not be here with us. So with this, we come to the end of the high-level panel, and I would like to thank all the dignitaries who join us up here on stage.